Peace be with you. Dear friends, welcome to Living Flame podcast website and Facebook group. Gospel Reflections for third Sunday of Easter. This is a beautiful episode of the two disciples traveling to Emmaus. Gospel taken from Luke chapter 24 verses 13 to 35. These two disciples who are saddened, maybe grieving, and traveling with a very sad feeling towards Emmaus. We all know that Emmaus was 12 kilometers or 15 kilometers away from Jerusalem. Now, why they were going towards Emmaus? Most probably to their hometown, away from Jerusalem. We know Jerusalem was the center of religion, politics, and business. But then during the time of festival, such a lot of people gathered, and we know all those things that happened in Jerusalem made people to understand how difficult it is to be in Jerusalem when they saw the tragic death of the greatest prophet ever they saw in those days, working miracles. Jesus was preaching, he was close to the temple, and these two disciples who were with Jesus perhaps thought we have lost all our hope. And then, for their surprise, there was a man who was walking with them, listening to them and asking questions. What are you discussing about? And they stood still, looking at the face of this man, asked, are you the only person who does not know all the things that have happened in Jerusalem? And the person says, what things? They explained to him all the things that have happened in Jerusalem. And then Jesus actually, without disclosing his identity, explains to them that it was necessary for the Messiah, the Son of Man, to suffer and then enter into his glory. He starts explaining to them from Moses till the time he died on the cross, and then explains to them that he had to resurrect. And then, coming closer to the village, he pretends, as it were, going ahead. Both these disciples invite him into their home, and at the breaking of the bread, they recognize Jesus, and he disappears from them. Dear friends, these two disciples, filled with the power of the resurrected Lord, they travel back the same night to Jerusalem. Most probably, they were so enthusiastic, they covered the distance within short time because they wanted to report this great experience of the appearance of Jesus at the breaking of the bread to the 11 disciples, apostles. And they go back to report this good news. Dear friends, whenever we meet Jesus in the Holy Eucharist, this should be our attitude. That is why celebrating Holy Eucharist every Sunday, and if possible every day, if there is time, this actually strengthens us and keeps us in touch with the Word of God. You know, the experience of Emmaus, practically the experience we should all have during the Holy Eucharist. You know, there is the Word of God that is shared, the first reading, the Psalms, and the Gospel passage. It is like Jesus explaining to us all that happened from Moses till the time of his death and resurrection. And then we have the celebration of the Holy Eucharist where we break bread. And at the moment of breaking bread, we experience that power of the risen Lord in our hearts. And then when we go out of the church, what do? With the same enthusiasm of those two disciples, we would like to proclaim to all those people around us that Jesus is risen. We are happy people and we would like to share this joy with you. And that is what proclamation of the good news of God's kingdom. If we can do that, dear friends, we are just sharing that experience of these two disciples who were walking towards Emmaus. God bless you.